right. Hold on a second. 109 hours and 20 minutes. Good God. And we're going to do it all again in like 25 days. And then we're going to do it the month after that and the month after that. Although the month after that and the month after that might be 3-day marathons. Because doing the 5 days month after month after month after month can be a bit exhausting. Let's see. Let's see. Let me look at my dashboard and make sure I'm up to date on thanking everyone. Hold on. I don't think the DRK will be back in time for the Miller mission. It's the first mission. But it'll probably be taken over shortly after that. We need to be careful here that we don't accidentally go into ground zeros. Agree. Oh, Jesus Christ. Accept. Oh, for fuck's sake. They keep changing this screen here. I feel like it's different every time I go back to play it. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, we have to be careful. If we keep spamming X, eventually one of these things will be different. There's a big twist at the end of this where it asks you, do you want to play ground zeros? So we need to actually slow this down. There it is. Okay. No. This was post Kojima, this stuff. This is definitive edition, exclusive.
Mayday! Mayday! Controls unresponsive. Tower, do you read? Shit. Comms are down.
So this is why Kojima never speaks English in interviews. We quickly look to the left. We can see a shadow behind the curtain. And he jumps into bed.
He said I was his friend, which came as some surprise. I spoke into his eyes. I thought you died alone a long, long time ago. Oh no, not me. I never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world. I laughed and shook his hand and made my way back home. I searched for fallen land. For years and years I roamed. I gazed and gazed stare at all the millions here. We must have died alone.
Now I'm awake.
Kdo chceme?
V has come to.
V has come too.
Okay, let's check our options before we begin. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff I want to do here. Turn off auto aim correction, I guess. Everything else I think is okay. Camera settings, that's okay. Display settings. Subtitles on. Score display, nah. Trials, nah. Markers, nah. Reticle, yeah. Actually, maybe I probably won't be playing this for long, but I know Bad Humans was suggesting playing without a reticle. I'll leave it on. Enemy presence off. Damage direction off. Action icon off, even though it can be annoying sometimes. DRK, I'll probably turn most of the stuff back on. Show weapon item icons off. I like to have a clean HUD. Sound, audio guidance off. Game settings, chicken hat off. And I wish you could pick it permanently. So you never even get asked if you want the chicken hat. Hey, you appear to be sucking ass at this video game. Would you like to wear a chicken hat? Reflex mode off. There we go.
Ακούσμε. Ακούσμε. Can you hear me? Are you having difficulty speaking? Can you move your head? Just nod if you can hear me. Look up, please.
No.
Please follow my instructions. Look up. You can hear me. Yes? Please follow my instructions.
Okay. I was about to look up.
Look up.
Oh. Oh.
Very good. How do you feel now? Can you speak? What is your name?
When
When
were you
were you
born?
Can you recall?
Um. I think I'm feeling anus today. Just something simple. Anus, just thinking of the postcard at the end of the game. Good luck, Anus. Good luck, Anus. Good luck, meat. That would make sense, too. Like a meat shield. This guy. Good luck, this guy. Okay, yeah, we'll go for June 1st.
Good. Now then. Please try to relax. There is plenty of time. I need to tell you something. Please listen and try not to panic. You've been in a coma for quite some time. Yes, I know you would like to know how long. I'm afraid it's been 9 years. Damn it! Nosocoma! 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 Nurse! Calm down. Calm down. Try not to panic. With Seme. Try not to panic. You'll be all right. There now. Just rest.
How do you feel?
From the wreckage, but have stated that the reason for the crash was an as-yet inexplicable fire in mid-flight. The search has ended with a confirmed death toll of 94 and another 30.
It's been 1 week since you came to. Now, let's try getting you out of that bed.
Appears to have been the withdrawal
Nurse.
Soviet army fought, and sources suggest this may be part of a cover-up orchestrated.
Don't worry. You've lost some strength, but we've been maintaining your muscle mass through massages, CPM therapy, and EMS.
Multiple NATO countries have
Now, I need to explain something to you, but you mustn't be alarmed.
they note that their own citizens were among
9 years ago, you were injured in an explosion. Upon examination, we discovered 108 foreign bodies embedded within it.
What? There were only 5 people on that chopper.
In addition to shrapnel, we also found fragments of human bone and human teeth. Most of it was removed, but some of the fragments still remain. They are located near your heart and in your skull. Look at this. The fragments are lodged deep within your cerebral cortex. We couldn't give you an MRI, the metal, you see. But even if we were to extract it, you would most likely suffer a brain hemorrhage. Mental and physical impairment are unavoidable. However, your current status is not life-threatening. One more thing. This X-ray is of your upper body. You better look now. Best to understand your situation sooner than later. I know it's difficult, but please look down. It's best to see with your own eyes. Be brave. Nosocoma! Grigor! Try to calm down! Calm down! Please! Calm down! It's gonna be okay! Yes! Calm down! Yes.
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 Jeez.
Ένεν σε κατάσταση επαστική εγχείρηση.
Κάποιος ήδη γνωρίζει ότι έχει ξυπνήσει. Διατρέχει μεγάλο κίνημα. Πρέπει να ενεργήσουμε άμεσα. Προετοιμάστε τον για εγχείρηση. Το πιστεύω.
It's true. There are those who wish you would never woken up. You should be dead, but you're not. The wheels are in motion. Your enemies are everywhere. We must alter your appearance immediately. Otherwise, I fear you won't leave this place alive. It's a wide open world up there, so there's something we need to take care of first. I'm going to change your appearance. We have no other choice. What you look like, however.
Right. What are we gonna make this guy look like? I don't think I usually make a black character. So maybe I'll do that this time. Oh my god, look at this. Look at this absolute Chad. I kind of like that expression. Aw, what a nice guy. I think I prefer that. That's nice. I like that. Oh yeah, I'm feeling this. This is good. Yeah, big old nose. Upper nose prominence. You have a very prominent nose, I see. Nose tip size. Yeah, I think I like that. Whoa. Yeah, that's good. Ooh. Okay, yeah, I like that. Now eyes. Yeah, the stoner eyes are good. Whoa. Close or distant? Distant. Under eye circles. Huh. No, I think we'll go for something a bit more normal. Okay, now the hair. I feel like bald works for this guy. That works well, I think. Ooh. No, I think I like the clean look here. Clean look and bald. Yeah. Yeah, now that's a look. That's a real look. Um Looks like Jason Statham after he had a boxing career. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. Oh.
Very good. Now let's remove these bandages. Your face has healed nicely. To tell you the truth, these bandages were more for your protection, to hide you from those who want you dead. As of today, your name is Ahab. Forget everything. Your name, your past. This is you, as you've lived until this day. Tomorrow, it becomes a phantom.
Not yet. The patient in the next bed saw my face. Of course. Consider it done.
Weird how they do that off screen, you know, you hear the lighter and the screen is black.
Okay, have time to go.
What happened to the woman?
The woman? We gave her a light. She took the short way down.
Who are you?
Who am I? You're talking to yourself. Been watching over you for 9 years. You can call me Ishmael.
What the hell is going on?
Well, the good news is, you're in the land of the living. Bad news? Whole world wants you dead. On your feet, soldier. The whole place is coming down. Need a little pick-me-up? Okay. Here. Nothing like a little digoxin to get you back in the game. Come on!
Okay, I need to change my camera. Because it's inverted after the opening. No.
Come on, over here.
Man, I really wish you had a bit more freedom in this intro, just to like crawl around. You know, it's just all you do is hold up for so much of it. Let me do wrong things, you know? Let me do silly things and then tell me I need to catch up, or you know, let me fail in silly ways. I was really disappointed. I remember watching the trailers for the first time and just waiting for the day when I would play the game so I could finally crawl around this hospital and actually look around. Then I got to that day and I still couldn't do it. I want to go over and look at Snake's bed. You know, maybe there are photographs up on the wardrobes, up on the closets. Look at all the flowers he gets. There are things that I like about the intro. I like the concept of being born again, which is essentially what they're doing here. You like, this is our Venom's first moments as this new being, as his new self. And you know, you start off, all you can do is move the camera and it's out of focus. Then you get your vision back. Then all you can do is crawl. Then eventually you get the ability to walk, run, dive, get the ability to shoot. You know, you gradually get all your functions back. I think it's a cool concept. Extreme linearity giving way to extreme openness. Your default rank for the first few missions ties into it as well. Chick. Your first rank is always going to be Chick, no matter how well you do in the first couple of missions. And I think the description for Chick is title awarded to newly awakened soldiers or something like that. So just like, you know, cool little details that tie into the fact that you are this new person, that you're like born again. But I really wish they gave you a bit more freedom, you know? Classic MGS stuff is kind of missing from this, given that you know, in MGS, you're used to MGS going, you know, what if the player decides to do this, or interacts with this? And there's not really that much of that in this intro. It's extremely on rails.
Drug's not working.
I remember it was the hexagons on the floor that really sold me that this was MGS. Around the first Phantom Pain trailer. You know, I saw Snake with the mullet from behind. I'm like, that kind of looks like Snake. Then I saw the hexagons and I was like, yep, this is MGS.
This way.
Yeah, you see the hexagonal pattern a lot. Obviously, the big shell, the structure of the Patriots AI in MGS4. They reference that again in Peace Walker, the honeycomb design, and yeah, you see it quite a bit.
This isn't gonna work. We better take the elevator.
I think a lot of people miss how similar this is to MGS1. You know, when Snake has his vision of Mantis in MGS1, he appears in front of an elevator down a long hallway. I think you could, in Twin Snakes, doesn't he rise through the ceiling as well in that scene? Could be wrong. I haven't seen Twin Snakes too many times. I've only played it a few times.
What the hell is that? Something's coming.
So much for that. Look at how cool I am, walking slowly. Oh, here's the arm, yeah.
Calm down. You can do this.
Flop.
yourself.
POV after the
Tell me you
marathon.
treatment your injuries while hiding from the enemy.
This was me this morning trying to get my PS4 working.
Over there. Let's go.
This way, hurry. Get down.
Help me, please.
Let's move.
Help me. I don't want to die.
Not gonna check? He was clearly talking to someone. A little bit of overkill too. Didn't need to go that hard on him.
Here! Over here!
Time to walk. Press the stance button to stand up.
Don't get caught in those searchlights. Here they come. Hurry.
I'm dead.
Don't you die on me. Ahab. Ahab. Ahab!
It's worth showing the screen here anyway. Mission failed. Let's see if it stays the same later on for another death screen here.
Press the stance button to stand up. Don't get caught in those searchlights. Here they come. Hurry. Now! Move! Go!
Block.
Hurry. This way. Shit! It's ugly down there. Turn back. This way.
Πάμε γρήγορα. Come on.
Σας παρακαλώ.
Think we'll be
Τι
okay?
συμβαίνει? Δεν βλέπω τίποτα.
Δεν μιλάει κανένας, θα μας σκοτώσουνε.
Ναι, τον είδα πριν λίγο.
What's happening out there?
It's all right. We'll be okay.
I can't see what's happening. Do you hear that? What's going on out there?
Πρόσεχε.
Hey!
Hey! I can't see what's happening.
What is that? What's happening out there? Does anybody know?
Hey!
You should... You hear them coming? Please, please.
Hide behind the curtains.
Damn, he is passed the fuck out. I do like the synchronized movement there, the synchronized crawling. Oh, I never usually look back at this guy. Feet!
Anything? Negative. He came in here. Keep looking.
The chat goes wild.
This way.
Let's just stay here until it becomes the Twitch thumbnail. It'll bring in at least 200 more viewers.
We're sitting ducks. Blend in with the bodies. Get down on your stomach and crawl. If you move, we're done for. Play dead. Don't move.
It really feels like all you have to do is go prone. You know, there is no play dead. It really feels like we should be pressing something else other than just lying here in prone. Like, look at this. Fucking get your head down further, Snake. They're getting really close. Like, this is really bad dead play. All right, now they're doing something. Now they're trying at least. Although, what the fuck, man? How does what? No, he didn't piss himself. Look, he tore through one of the IV bags. But Kojima wants you to think he pissed himself. People love falling through windows.
Grenade! Take this!
Hold on. We better stop and treat that injury. We'll have to take the stairs down. Hold down the aim button to aim, then press the attack button to fire. Destroy it.
What if I go back over here? You don't even need to destroy the extinguisher here. You can just turn around. So, when you die as Venom, you get a mission failed. If you get a game over by killing Snake, you get a time paradox. Back to MGS3, you know, you can't kill Sokolov because he must stay alive for the story to continue. You can't kill Ocelot. He must be alive in future games. And same here with Ishmael, our big boss. He's not allowed to die.
Know how to shoot a gun? Hold down the aim button to aim, then press the attack button to fire. Destroy it.
Yeah, Venom is allowed to die.
Hold on. I'll take the right. You take the left.
I'm gonna let you do all the work here.
Calm down. You can do this. Hurry up and get with the program. Calm down. You can do this.
It takes a while, but he will do it all by himself.
I'll run interference.
Usually I just run straight out here. He doesn't do the thing, no? Oh, he does. Fires them all back at you. It's the boss.
Get in!
I'm on your side! Hurry!
Nice joke, Ocelot.
Hang on! Use this! Watch our backs! Shoot it! Now! shook him off.
Chick. Why no revenge, bro? What's going on? What is this? I guess I'm going back to the man on fire.
My name's Ocelot. Big boss. You know who I am. A certain man gave me a job to do. Two, actually. First was to get you out of that hospital. The second was to rescue the man himself. You remember? Your partner 9 years ago, Kazuhira Miller. 9 years back, your private army came under attack by Cypher. You were considered dead. Until today, that is, when Cypher found you. And it's not just them. The whole world wants you dead. You'll have to join up with Miller. Build that private army of yours one more time. It's your only chance. First, we need to save Miller. He's in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan?
What, you can't keep up with world affairs in a coma? 4 years ago, the Soviets invaded Afghanistan. The Muslims are fighting back with Western support. Miller was training Mujahideen rebels when he was captured by the Soviets. The Reds' 40th Army. Troop strength somewhere around 100,000. The squad holding Miller set off near the Pakistan border yesterday. Now, in 3 days, they'll reach the Soviet garrison. They'll be interrogated for a few more days, and it's off to a lager. Or left to rot in a ditch on Afghan soil. I give him 2 weeks. The job didn't mean anything to Miller. He only took it on to keep you safe. Well, there's our ride. whaling ship. Had a pretty good deal on her once the IWC started raising a stink. Now it's 7 days to Port Qasim, another 3 overland. So we won't have much time once we're there. Don't take too long getting used to your new self. Hang on. Ha!
Words that kill. Would you speak them to me? With your breath so still, you make me believe.
The area ahead is under total Soviet control. Miller's been captive for 10 days. Not much time left.
Weather will clear shortly.
Storm's passing.
Getting used to it?
After 9 years on ice, solo infiltration of the Soviet main ground forces. Should be the perfect warm-up. Kazuhira Miller is being held in Dawandehar to the north. Check its location now. Take out your iDroid. Boss, take a look at your iDroid. Boss, take a look at your iDroid. Boss, take a look at your iDroid.
It's a shame he doesn't get really angry here. Or, you know, just frustrated. He shouldn't get angry. He should get very frustrated.
Boss, take a look at your iDroid.
Okay.
You see Wandy on the map? That's where they're keeping Miller. Only problem is, we don't know his exact location. Finding it is your first priority.
Got your binoculars? Or should I say, your int scope?
See the village? Straight ahead? To the right. Something there? I don't hear any aircraft.
I think I see an aircraft.
Something there? I don't hear any aircraft. To the right. Have you spotted the village? Zoom in closer. A little to the left.
Bit more to the left. I don't think that's a village.
Have you spotted the village? Zoom in closer.
Oh shit, it's all the way over there.
Have you spotted the village?
Yeah, I see it.
Zoom
I
in
got
closer. All right, that's the village. If you see something through the binoculars and you need more information, just give me a call. I'll tell you anything I can about it. That's Violo Village, the Violo Calais.
The villagers fled the war and evacuated a while back. Since then, it's become a base for the Soviets' 40th Army.
A few days ago, Miller was taken through there, en route towards Dawandehar. You may be able to pick up the trail there. It's worth a shot. Put a marker on it so you don't lose track of where it is.
You have to start a, you have to delete your save if you want to start a new playthrough in this. Yeah, it sucks. When can I look at the bird? Have I already lost my my chance? Oh no, I think we can do it. Or maybe I had to do it before
Something
looking
wrong?
at the...
Put a marker on the village, boss.
Alright, I'll put a marker on the village first, then maybe I can do it.
Good. Now you won't have to worry about getting lost along the way.
Damn, I probably had to do it beforehand.
I give him 3 days, tops. If we fail, and he dies, we lose our chance of revenge. But we need more intel. If you just go charging into Dawandehar, you'll be putting both your lives at risk. See what you can find out first. The Soviets have other outposts, not just the one you saw. Afghanistan is a big place. I expect you'll become quite familiar with those binoculars as you plan your next move. How and where you make it, well, that's up to you. From here on out, you're on your own. You're a legend in the eyes of those who live on the battlefield. That's why you have to handle this mission yourself. Put those 9 years behind you, and return as Big Boss. That's how Koss would want it. I'll be sending additional intel by radio. Stay sharp. Not one of Miller's bodyguards survived. And they were good. All we found on the scene were their corpses and knees. They'll be missing them. And you're his only hope of getting them back. Now go! Let the legend come back to life.
Here we are. Do I want to go and do this tutorial shit?
Why don't you do a little more practice in those ruins? Shooting, taking cover, climbing obstacles. See to it that 9-year gap doesn't slow you down.
I don't think I even knew that this was a thing on my first playthrough. I think I just went straight down the hill. Glorious Bastard, my thoughts. My thoughts on what? Uh-oh. What if I go up here and get these diamonds? At least I thought there were diamonds.
Cliffs are climbable if there are cracks you can use as handholds. You might even find some unexpected routes that way. Keep an eye out for cracks on your travels.
Oh, there it is.
That's a rough diamond. Good find. It'll fetch a high price.
I wish we got more of this ambient music. Just for the quiet moments in the game. Listen to this theme we're getting here. It's quite unusual. We don't get much of this in the game. What are my thoughts on life in general? I think life is meaningless. But that's okay, because you can make your own meaning. Those are my thoughts. But come back to me in a year. I might have a different view.
Hold it. There's a Soviet guard post. There are bound to be guards. Take a look with your binoculars. Put the enemy in the center of your field of view. That's marking. Focus on a thread and it'll be marked automatically. You can mark enemies and vehicles by zooming in with your binoculars or camera. Once they're marked, you'll also see their positions on the map. Security at that guard post is relatively light. Looks like the perfect place for a warm-up. Try to remember the ways you used to deal with enemies. Anytime you need advice, just give me a call.
My thoughts on the remake. I guess I haven't spoken about the remake in a while. I don't really have too many thoughts. I guess I'm a bit pessimistic because it's Konami we're dealing with. But I think some of the old Koji Pro members will be working on it. Some of those old veterans. Guys like Yuji Karakado. So I think it might be in decent hands. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. You know, there's no part of me that really wants remakes for those classic games. It's really such a trend now that I'm kind of worn out on. So I'm definitely a bit cynical looking at Konami and just, you know, it looks like they're really just choosing this safe bet going forward with the series. Which doesn't feel very Metal Gear to me, you know? Metal Gear was usually quite subversive and cheeky and interesting and esoteric. I thought that Metal Gear trailer was like the most un-Metal Gear trailer I'd ever seen. It was like so milquetoast, that MGS3 reveal trailer. But, you know, it's just a trailer, so whatever, who gives a shit? But, yeah, it did stand out, you know, because MGS trailers have a history of being quite interesting. So, seeing such a safe corporate trailer for a new game, quote-unquote new game, it's like, oh, this doesn't feel very MGS. MGS just hopping on a fucking remake trend bandwagon. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, hopefully it turns out well. Hopefully, though, you know, it'll, I hope it feels different in some interesting ways. Hopefully there are some interesting new mechanics. There are definitely things you could improve from MGS3 if we're just talking about improving what was already there. Like stuff like the cure system, the general balance of the game. Maybe make the survival aspects more of a challenge. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect it to feel like Kojima, and given that Kojima is gone, and Shinkawa, you know, Shinkawa as well. Huge part of the series and its style and its aesthetic.
Sound. Keep all your enemy senses in mind. When you're near an enemy, stay low and move slowly.
Yeah, so fuck it, we'll see what happens, but yeah, there's no real part of me that like is clamoring for remakes of those classic games. But it'll be good for the channel. It'll inject some life into the channel at least, and it'll be another game for us to play. So yeah. As a streamer, as a businessman, it's good.
Don't leave bodies out in the open. Find some place to drop them out of sight.
But yeah, as a fan, there's like I'd be happy to see the series end. You know, a lot of people are just happy that the series is back. I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I'm not someone who wants the series, who desires the series to just be this never-ending franchise. I'd be happy to see it just end someday. You know, I don't see why that has to be a bad thing. I think it can be a good thing in a lot of ways. You know, especially if, you know, it's a company that's just really continuing to suck the life out of something and they're like really running out of ideas. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
The Soviet soldier. A lot of them came from Central Asia before, but lately they've been using more and more Russians. Simple, really. There's less hesitation to pull the trigger if they're not fighting their own race. Morbid cynicism, but it gets results. That's humanity for you. A Soviet soldier of the 40th Army.
Talk.
Boss, you don't understand what he said? I guess that makes sense. It looks like that horn stuck in your head has impacted the language center of your brain. If only we had a recruit with the Russian interpreter skill, we could get by with simultaneous interpretation.
Spit it out. Speak.
Я не понимаю. Не понимаю.
Understanding a language and being able to interpret from that language for somebody else are two different things. Juggling languages at a rapid-fire pace is more difficult than you might think. So, in other words, while I do speak Russian, don't expect me to do your interpreting.
That, the tone there. Nice act. Came up with that on the fly. Kefka, I think you could like tone it down a bit, man. You're getting very violent in the chat. I understand you don't like the game, but you don't need to be like this pile of shit. Fuck this voice actor. Fuck this. I can't believe this fucking shit gets more views than this. Like, do we need to be so aggressive all the time? I'm kind of drowning in the fucking cynicism over here, you know?
Toilet. If you're gonna hide inside, watch the enemy doesn't decide to use it. Same goes for hiding downed enemies in it.
I don't mean you can't fucking criticize the game. Hell, I'll be criticizing the game a lot, I'm sure, while I'm playing it, but, you know, fucking, I can't handle it when the chat is just, like, so fucking full on with it, you know? Where I'm just kind of drowning in the shit. I mean, yeah, but if DRK is fine with all that, then that's fair enough. I mean, he has his own thing with the Phantom Pain. Yeah, fuck it. I'm just heading straight over to Miller. Yeah, but I have a lot of issues with MGS5, but compared to many of you, it seems, I feel like people make me question, do I actually fucking love this game or something? No, I don't. It's just that there's a pretty wide margin, I guess, between the negative feelings I have and the negative feelings that... how far those negative feelings can go for others. Get out of my way, you little shit. Why don't you marry it then? Yeah. All I want is some for the chat to not get too riled up all the time. You know?
Reached one day.
It stresses me out.
Somewhere in that town, but we don't know exactly where he is. You can keep gathering intel or make an entry into the town now.
I just get stressed when there's so much cynicism, you know. Doesn't matter what you're talking about, you know. You could be talking about fucking MGS4 or some other game. Yeah, there's no way the MGS3 remake is gonna have MGS3's gameplay. Or, you know, there's no way it's gonna play like MGS3. You're not gonna see those kinds of controls for a modern game. Which I'm glad that it'll be different. You know, I wouldn't want it to play exactly like MGS3. Then I'd just say, well, why the fuck won't I just... well, may as well just play MGS3 if it's just going to be exactly like MGS3. So even if it doesn't manage to live up to the gameplay of MGS3, hopefully it'll at least be decent and different. It'll have a hard time living up to all the detail in MGS3, like all of the... you know, all of the unique little details, boss mechanics, whatnot.
Мы выдвинулись и взяли их всех сразу. Но все они оказались таджиками.
Откуда была информация?
От душманов.
Чего?
выдавал себя за жителя кишлака. Он на самом деле был Хамидом.
Хамидом?
Это пуштунские боевики. Они базируются вокруг пакистанской границы.
Они предали своих же?
Они себя таковыми не считают. Они братья по религии, не по крови. И это хороший шанс для Хамида. Теперь они могут закрепиться в этой области.
В следующий раз они уже будут врагами.
Ага. У этих Хамидов хорошее оружие. Благодаря американцам.
Нам нужно быть осторожнее.
Точно. Береги себя.
It'll be interesting what the former Koji guys do, Bad Humans. I was impressed with some of the things they did in Survive in terms of expanding mechanics. Yeah, I know Dim feels that way as well. I think he actually prefers Survive over Phantom Pain. I never really got into Survive. I played it for a few hours. I should really go back to it because there's still loads of that game that I haven't seen. It'd be fun. Probably be interesting to stream it. I did stream the first few hours, but that was about it. Let's see, what the fuck am I doing here? Is that guy ever gonna turn inside? Fuck it, I'll take him out. Ba-dum-ba-da. Oh. Really? I didn't think he'd see me because it was night.
We don't know Miller's exact location, so you'll need to do a little intel gathering first. Take a look around Vialo Village.
Hey, I haven't played in a while. It's our first marathon in a year. Give me a break. Wanna do some co-op, Bad Humans? Yeah, I might be down for that. Let's try this again. There we go. Oh, you can't lean up against that?
Kaz.
No more use for me, huh?
Kaz, it's me. I'm here to get you out.
Snake.
They do something to your eyes?
No, it's just bright as all.
What took you so long? We'll talk, but not here.
cleared the target. I'll send the chopper to get you out. Make your way to the RV. You can check the location on your iDroid.
Okay, I'm just gonna stick you on the toilet for a second, Kaz. I'll grab the cassette. I actually thought I grabbed it. I'm playing with a completely clean HUD, so I have no action icons for all this shit. It can be really awkward for taking people out of dumpsters and toilets, because the prompts are a bit finicky. I should really turn those back on. Fuck it, I'll turn them back on. DRK will turn most of them back on anyway when he comes back. I think he usually plays with a lot of the HUD stuff on. There we go. Nope, still failing.
Hasn't slowed you down one bit. Not so heavy anymore, right? Magic words, boss. I've been waiting 9 years to hear them. Kept you waiting, huh? Come on. Say it for old time's sake.
This is Pequod. Arriving shortly at LZ.
Pequod, you interrupted me. I think he heard it.
It's really you, Snake. All these years without you. I knew this day would come.
This is Pequod. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
That's a hidden prompt. On a first playthrough, chances are you're not going to hear that, because I don't think most players are going to think to press triangle. I wish there were more things like that. That would have been cool. You know, tying into Venom as a player avatar. That the player has to press the button in order for Snake to speak. Say your catchphrase, Snake. Prove it.
Boss, watch out. It's the skulls. Don't let them find us.
Boss, whatever that mist is, it's all around you. We can't see through it. I'm changing the RV so it's outside the mist. Get over there. The chopper will be waiting.
Okay, let's see if I can still remember how to stealth this properly. It's pretty simple. We can just lure one of them over. Grab this guy's attention. There we go. Now he should start sprinting towards me. Yeah. That clears him out of that path. And now I should be able to slip through, I think. You have to get pretty close to trigger them. We don't have the means to kill them at this point. Or actually, you probably can you? Because we do have an assault rifle. You can probably go back and get other assault rifles.
This is Pequot. Have arrived at
Yeah,
LZ.
you probably can.
We'll stand by.
I know you can on repeat playthroughs, but even on this first playthrough you could, but it would be a bit of a pain in the ass.
The mist is cleared, and it looks like they're gone.
Those things. That's the unit that attacked us before. They came at us real fast in the same kind of mist. Our men, survivors from 9 years ago, were wiped out in minutes. I don't know what they want, but it's them. No mistake.
Boss, did you come all this way just to kill him? That is enough! Boss, have you lost your mind?
Why, yes, as a matter of fact. I have.
Boss, did you come all this way just to kill him? All right. Put Miller in.
Yeah, I never really thought that there's kind of some irony in the other line of dialogue. You know, the lost your mind thing is kind of obvious, but the other one, coming all this way just to kill him, when that's exactly what they're doing to Venom. You know, the plan is for Venom to die when Big Boss wants him to die. Maybe that isn't what they're getting at there, but it just kind of made me think of that.
For the Seychelles. That's where our new home is now. Hey. That was some operation we had, huh? 9 years ago. Carving out our own world. Making our own future. And they took it away. Place together that we can call home. Yeah, we were dogs, all right. Slinking around out of Cypher's sight. Digging up whatever kind of dirty money we could find. You name it. We did it. You see this? Diamond dogs. new home. A phantom of our former selves. Triumph. Death. We weren't allowed either. Yeah. I remember it all.
Played us like a damn fiddle!
Help me, Snake.
Chico.
It all ends soon, exactly as I've planned.
Give my regards to your boss when you get home.
Snake. Why are we still here? Just to suffer. Every night, I can feel my leg, and my arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost, the comrades I've lost, won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you? I'm the one who got caught up with Cypher. A group above nations, even the US. And I was the parasite below, feeding off Zero's power. They came after you in Cyprus. In Afghanistan. Cypher just keeps growing. Swallowing everything in its path. Getting bigger and bigger. Who knows how big now? Boss. I'm gonna make him give back our past. Take back everything that we've lost. And I won't rest until we do.
Approaching Mother Base.
Our new Mother Base. I don't know how long it'll take, but I'll make it bigger. Better than before.
God. What should I do?
Boss?
Tell me. Tell me like you used to.
Fuck me like you used to.
Things have changed, boss. We pull in money, recruits, just to combat Cypher. Rubbing our noses in bloody battlefield dirt. All for revenge. The world calls for wet work, and we answer. No greater good. no just cause. Cause. Cypher sent us to hell. But we're going even deeper.
I know. I'm already a demon. Heaven's not my kind of place anyway.
Dogs of war for 9 whole years. That ends today. Now you're not sleeping, and we're not junkyard hounds. We're diamond dogs.
Let them talk.
We can crush Cypher, boss. And you can build the army that can do it.
Just one thing, Kaz. This isn't about the past. We're fighting for the future.
Boss, there's something I want to talk about. It concerns the running of Mother Base. Come meet with me.
Come meet with me. Am I not already here? I'm here, man.
Boss,
I'm ready to go.
Come meet with me.
Just want me to get a little bit closer? How close do I have to get? Why can't we have our meeting right here?
Boss, come meet with me. You came. This base belongs to you now. Make Diamond Dogs the force it deserves to be. Like any organization, we need good people, and we need to make good use of their talents. Miller asked me to lay that out for you. To start bringing people in, use this. It's a Fulton recovery device. When you're in the field, use it to extract any soldiers or prisoners you want back here. And we'll see if we can't persuade them to join the ranks of Diamond Dogs. Go on. Test it out on the staff here. Anyone you want. First, put them to sleep. You have a tranquilizer gun, don't you?
I'm ready, boss.
Out like a light. Now approach him and extract him. That won't work on me. I've had drug resistance training. Now extract him.
Takiyama.
Now extract him.
2 + 2 = 5. 2 + 2 = 5.
That won't work on me. I've had drug resistance. Good. Extraction complete. You can only Fulton recover someone if they're not resisting it. No dead bodies either. They don't make great recruits. The staff member you just extracted will be assigned to the team best suited to his abilities. See for yourself. Open your iDroid. Select staff management from the Mother Base menu. So that staff member was placed on the R&D team. The R&D team is in charge of developing all kinds of weapons and items that'll support you on missions.
take a look at the development list.
Select weapons items under the development heading.
That's the R&D team's development list. See the item called cardboard box? Didn't seem much use to me, but Miller was adamant that you'd want it on the list. The last word in infiltration technology, or so he said. In any case, we don't have the manpower to develop it just yet. We need more staff on the team. Go extract a few more people.
Okay.
You can also Fulton extract individuals you've knocked out. Why don't you try CQC next? Show them how it's done. Good. Extraction complete. One thing I should mention. A Fulton extraction won't always be successful. If the person is injured, the shock of it could kill them. And if the weather's unfavorable, well, they could end up going missing. You can determine the chance of success by approaching the person you want to extract. If you want to be sure you can get them out, best carry them to the chopper instead. All right, extract the next staff member. Start by knocking him out, or you can put him to sleep. Boss, now that we have more people on the R&D team, its level has gone up. They should be able to develop the cardboard box now. Open your iDroid.
Select weapons items under the development head.
Now select cardboard box and start development. Just be aware that
development has finished. You can have the support unit supply you with weapons and items you develop. Think of it as your own personal delivery service.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you. When you call in a supply drop, watch you don't drop it on your head.
Look at this big baby. Sitting like a big fat baby. He just needs the PS3 controller from MGS4 and it's perfect.
And there it is. Not sure what it's good for, but Miller said you'd know what to do. Try it out. One last thing. The staff members you extracted were all placed on the R&D team, but that was Miller's decision. If you think they belong somewhere else, you're free to move them around. Well, that about does it. You won't make any GMP or find recruits hanging around here. Board the chopper when you're ready for a mission. Open your iDroid and select a landing zone and tell it where to pick you up. Or if you're still in the mood for knocking guys on their asses.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ.
Just come pay me a visit.
This is B-Quad. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude.
Yeah, if you want to watch VODs, check out the YouTube link in the chat. All my VODs go up there. The whole marathon will be up there, and everything else that I do. FIFA actually uploads on the Outer Heaven channel now, not on his own personal channel.
Boss, I know you haven't been back long, but I prepared a list of missions for you.
Open your iDroid.
Why did Kojima leave Konami? I never understood why. I think the times changed. I think that was the main reason. But, you know, there were probably a lot of other issues as well. Relationships souring. We don't really know exactly what happened. Or, you know, there was never, you know, they never revealed exactly what went down. But at around the time when Kojima was fired, Konami, their president changed. They announced that they were getting out of the AAA gaming space. They announced that they were moving towards patchy slot machines and mobile and games as a service. So I feel like that really tied in quite nicely with Kojima, this guy who wants to make games the old way, these big budget, multi-million dollar projects that take up years of time. You know, combined with their new philosophy, that didn't really seem to work. You know, they released this big statement, and Kojima's way didn't really jive with that statement they released regarding their new business philosophy. So I feel like you can kind of put two and two together there. But there was probably a lot of other stuff as well that went down behind the scenes that we just didn't know about. But yeah. And I think Phantom Pain really was the last game of that size that they had made for... I guess MGS was really the last series of that kind for a while too at Konami, you know? I think most of their other big series started to lose a lot of steam by that point. MGS was the one that really kept going. You know, they had their yearly Pro Evolution Soccer thing and probably some other stuff, but when it comes to the big AAA quote-unquote blockbuster type games, I think MGS was really the only one that was like that. Phantom Pain's budget, well, I mean, they continually gave Kojima bigger and bigger budgets for each of the games that he worked on. You know, the series made a lot of money for Konami, and the series always did pretty well. I think Phantom Pain especially sold a lot. So, you know, I don't think anything out of the ordinary was really happening with the budgets. I think again it was just the fact that they changed their business philosophy and they wanted to get out of that AAA space. And like, you know, mobile pachinko is very big in Japan. I think maybe was it Bad Humans who was saying that they haven't been doing so well over the last couple of years with the patchy slots, or maybe it was the opposite, I don't know. Maybe that's why they're getting back into games a bit more now. But again, they're coming back with remakes, and I feel like an MGS3 remake is like your safest thing they could have done. It's a real safe bet. Pro Evolution is Pro Evolution not even being made at all now anymore? Pissed about the PT budget? I don't really see any reason to see why they would be pissed about the budgets, other than the fact that they want to be getting out of that type of game making in general. You know, like I said, there was nothing really out of the ordinary, I think, in terms of how much money Kojima was getting. You know, that was just business as usual, as he'd been doing for the last several decades. You know, the games made a lot of money. They kept getting bigger budgets as they continued. Yeah, Phantom Pain made huge profits. But yeah, you had Kojima, this guy who wants to make these multi-million-dollar games, and that wasn't the way they wanted to keep the company going. Yeah, maybe if the remake does well, I mean, if the remake does well, they're probably going to make another remake, right? But if the remake does well, hopefully we'll get something new. It'd be cool to see the old team there get to like really make something new. I can't imagine I feel like creatives generally would prefer to work on something new rather than remake something. So yeah, hopefully the old team there actually gets to work on something new. Again, especially given that Kojima did want to pass the series down and some of those old guys are still there. It'd be cool to see them come up with their own ideas and maybe do something interesting with the series. Remaking the MSX games, I think, would be a lot more interesting than remaking the old MGS classics, the PS2 games, PS1 games. If you were to remake the MSX games, it would have to be something very new. Because the technology has changed so much since then, and those games are so archaic, the games would have to be like completely reinvented from scratch. Unlike what we're seeing with the MGS3 remake, You see all those environments, it's going to be more or less the same, just higher fidelity, more photorealistic. Yeah, I think some kind of reboot could be interesting. Just don't leave the current canon alone, go off and do some other shit, like some of the spin-offs did, like Ghost Babel did, and Acid. Maybe take some of the characters, reinvent them with some kind of new world, new story. Would you play an MGS? I'm going to cut you off there. Would I play an MGS? I'll play whatever MGS comes out. Because of my job. I'm an MGS streamer. I'll be playing whatever the fuck they release. I mean, they released MGS Survive and I played that for like 5 hours, so maybe that isn't necessarily true. But, you know what I mean. It's kind of true. It's probably kind of true. If I played Metal Gear Acid, yes, I really like Metal Gear Acid. Metal Gear Acid rules. Metal Gear Acid 1 can be tedious and very slow. But it's still a really cool game. I feel like they do a great job of translating Metal Gear's mechanics into that turn-based strategy style. That turn-based strategy card game style. There's a Running Man card, and Running Man is the best card for moving. With Running Man, you can move 8 spaces. With Genome Soldiers, you can only move 4 spaces. Maybe the numbers aren't correct there, but I think it's something like that. I was really surprised by how in-depth Acid's mechanics went. Like, they really... it's like they take everything from MGS, try and translate it into some crazy new system. I enjoyed the other games you stream, but I'm guessing it doesn't bring in the same crowd. I thought the Darkwood stream you did was pretty fun. I mean, oh yeah, I'll still be doing loads of other non-MGS games. They might not bring in as many viewers, but a lot of them still do well for me, If I can get like 400 or 500 viewers for some other random game, I think that's pretty good. Silent Hill always does well for me. When I play Silent Hill, that usually brings in the same amount as MGS. You know, I can get up into the thousands when I do Silent Hill. Maybe not for all of them, but yeah, you have to be careful as a streamer. You know, you don't have the luxury of playing everything and anything. Nintendo games do terribly for me on stream. Man, if I play Mario or Zelda or any Nintendo game, I don't know. I guess I don't have a lot of Nintendo fans in my audience. Although I feel like Zelda is a game that doesn't really suit my style. I think I'm better off just chilling with that in my own time. I think it might be like that. I think I've seen that with a few other streamers as well, where Nintendo games don't seem to do that well for whatever reason. Mario 64. I never grew up with Nintendo. There are so many classic Nintendo games that I never played. Yeah, I'll be getting back to Fallout after this marathon. I would say that'll be the next stream, most likely. Another big marathon next month on Outer Heaven. Bloodborne does well for me, yeah. Souls games in general, although no, I think Souls games in general they don't bring in the biggest crowds. Bloodborne does well though. I guess I became a little bit known for Bloodborne. Hitman did pretty well. The freelancer streams did well, yeah. That was a lot of fun playing that as well. Sometimes the two things don't work. Sometimes you might be really having fun with a game on stream. Like you might really enjoy streaming it, but it just doesn't do well in terms of viewership. I have played Soul Reaver, yeah. I really enjoyed the Soul Reaver games as a kid. I feel like some of the gameplay can be a little bit rough going back to Soul Reaver 1. Some of that platforming, some of that janky-ass platforming and delayed movement. But yeah, maybe I'll go back and revisit Soul Reaver one of these days. Really loved those games as a kid. I never played Splinter Cell properly. Chaos Theory is something that I really want to play on stream at some point. FF16, yeah, I'll check out FF16. Hey, how's it going? How tough am I? Yeah, I'll do, although FF16 is coming out at the very end of next month, so I'll probably be busy with DRK's marathon. I'll probably play that afterwards. Probably isn't a bad idea anyway, because I'm sure everyone will be playing that and I'll get drowned in the directory. Anyway, let's play some tapes and then we'll do the next main mission.
You were hospitalized in Dikelia, a British sovereign base area on Cyprus. It's part of British overseas territory that falls outside of Cypriot jurisdiction. You got moved from Cuba's Little America right into Cyprus's Little Britain. Why Dikelia? The UK and the US remain close allies. The last place Cypher would think to look for you is inside their own system. That's what kept you safe in British military hospital for 9 years. The safest place from a whale is inside its own belly. You were a regular Geppetto.
Well, it wasn't Pinocchio who led me out to safety. So who was that guy?
Cypher went so far as to attack British territory, burning their own ally. That's how badly they wanted you dead.
He said I was in a British military hospital. But the doctor had a Greek accent.
They hire locally. Easier to trust them. Dikelia is also home to Greek Cypriots, after all.
What about the Turks? They haven't returned to the south.
Not yet. The Cyprus dispute is still a long way from resolved. The country is just as split as it was in '74. Turkish Cypriots in the north, Greek Cypriots in the south. Between them, the Green Line, the UN established.
And Deucalion sits right on top of it.
It does. Part of the buffer zone between the two groups. Another reason it was the perfect place to hide you. Easy to spot any outsiders snooping around.
So how do things stand?
Now, last year, the Turks declared that the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus is an independent state, though it's only Turkey that recognizes it. In the past, the Greeks and Turks lived side by side in the same villages. There are reasons to fight. Those came from the outside. Greece, Turkey, Britain, America, they all have their own stake in pitting the two sides against each other. But once you spark something like this, it's impossible to control. Both sides build up grudges like debt, without the foresight to see that each act of revenge just fans the flames, and then it's too late for other nations to rush in with peace talks. The embers keep on smoldering. Each nation's arrogance only breeds anarchy. The world is paralyzed by this hunger for revenge. Cyprus is no different. You're up.
We're changing ships?
We can't go sailing the Suez in a whaler.
The Suez Canal. When did they reopen it?
Not long after you were attacked. Once they finished sweeping it for mines after the Arab-Israeli conflict. Can you stand? We're going to transfer to a container ship for passage through the Suez. Our destination is Pakistan, Afghanistan's neighbor to the south. There, we disembark and head via Peshawar to the Zero Line, the border. We'll travel to the Khyber Pass by road.
And then?
We continue on horseback. Afghanistan's main roads are under Soviet control. We'll need to go around them. It'll be all narrow, winding paths through the mountains. We'll do better on horseback. It's a local guerrilla tactic. They use the higher ridges to avoid air recons. Then they charge down the mountains for ambushes. The Soviets still haven't devised a counter-strategy. Our time frame is only half as much as we really need. It's gonna be a tough march.
Better horses than boats.
Well, it'll make for good physiotherapy. Take the time to get used to that new arm.
While the Soviets have indicated they are not participating in the Los Angeles Olympics, primarily because the United States has made no attempt to guarantee the safety of the Soviet Union's athletes, the United States is increasingly demonstrating the belief that the issue has nothing to do with its preparations, and in fact this is retaliation for the Western nations' boycott of the previous Moscow Olympics. That concludes today's news.
That's quite some news.
The Soviet Union not attending the LA Olympics? Yeah. Andropov's death has changed some things. They're calling it revenge for the Western boycott of the Moscow Olympics.
Countries boycotted the Moscow Olympics?
Yes. In protest of the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. Over 50 countries were absent. It's too bad I didn't get to see Yamashita's judo. When the 40th Army crossed the Amu River 4 years ago, détente went right out the window. The U.S. Congress chose not to ratify SALT II. And Reagan's hardline politics won him the presidency in a landslide. According to him, the Soviet Union's an evil empire.
The Second Cold War.
And there's been no end to regional conflicts and civil wars. Lebanon, the Falklands, Grenada, Iran, Iraq. The story never changes. Egypt and Israel did sign a peace treaty. But then the driving force on the Egyptian side, President Sadat, was assassinated afterward. Apparently, his actions were considered a betrayal of his fellow Arabs.
Islamic extremists?
Yes. Fundamentalist extremists have been responsible for some bold acts of terrorism in recent years. We've had extremist students in Iran take U.S. embassy workers hostage, and suicide bombings in Lebanon. Over 300 foreign soldiers stationed there have been killed. Countries have yet to develop an effective means of dealing with terrorism. Afraid of losing their own men, they've pulled their forces out, handing private forces a golden opportunity.
Private forces?
Small armies with no national affiliation, working for the highest bidder. That's right, they got the idea from you. After Mother Base went down, they began spreading to meet the soaring demand. Miller's organization is just one of many PFs now. The entire world is after you. But at the same time, it needs you too. Miller told me about what happened in the Caribbean 9 years ago. You do remember Miller. You'd formed a private army with him. An army with no allegiance to a nation.
I remember, but...
I see. You're not sure what's fact and what's a fantasy caused by the coma. It's still all a mess, huh? All I can do is tell you the facts as they were told to me. I've gone easy on you up until now, but this is where the hard stuff begins. 1974, the year before you entered your coma. You were in Colombia, operating with a small unit of men, basically mercenaries. Miller was among them. Miller was trying to find a way to turn his and your talents into a line of work. He was looking to start a business where you would fight on behalf of others around the world, those who needed military force. But the reality was, at that time, you didn't have enough gear to equip your own men. Then Miller came across this client. It was a huge job he was offering, but you had a shot at pulling it off. You accepted it and headed into Costa Rica. The client even threw in an offshore facility in the Caribbean. The Mother Base, that would be your new base of operations. Miller sure did have a head for business. As your mission went on, your unit grew and grew. More weapons, more money. Before you knew it, you were commanding 300 men. As the organization got bigger, your military powers swelled to match. It got so the international community couldn't afford to ignore you. You were just too damn successful for your own good. You, your men, had worn out your welcome. Everyone was out for you. East, West, First World, Third. It was only a matter of time before someone took you down. And that was XOF. Officially, they're an anti-terror unit under the CIA. In reality, they're Cypher's private strike force. They lured you to Cuba using Chico, the Nicaraguan revolutionary kid, and Paz, a mole who worked for Cypher as bait. While you were gone, XOF, posing as a nuclear inspection team, stormed Mother Base. At the same time, C4 they'd placed on the strut legs went off. The whole thing went down in minutes. XOF. Kisses and hugs, followed by a big FU. All because of Miller's blind spot. A back door into Mother Base no one suspected. You remember a certain scientist. Huey was responsible for bringing the inspection team on board, giving the enemy a perfect opportunity to hit you at home. You were returning from Cuba when it happened. Mother Base came damn close to taking you with it into the Caribbean. Those of your men out on assignment returned right away. They refused to believe the wreckage in the water they found was Mother Base. But they checked the coordinates again and again, until reality finally settled in. You were supposed to die that day. That was XOF's primary objective. As far as most folks know, you did. The first doctor to see you wasn't even sure what he was looking at. Before they'd even finished operating, your men moved you to that hospital in Cyprus. It was a woman named Eva who arranged that. Rings a bell, huh? Most men in your condition would have been written off right from the start. But you survived. You went straight down to hell, and they pulled you out. Your eye wide open. Full of venom. The days of Naked Snake are long gone. Welcome back, Venom Snake. This world still needs you. Here, Snake, try this on.
A prosthetic arm.
Yeah, Miller was calling it the arm that wasn't there. The physiotherapy's going well. Your arm's bulked up enough for it to fit. There. Perfect. A little time with it, and it'll work better than the real thing. What do you think?
Huh. I can still feel my real arm.
Well, you better get used to this one quick. You have any pain?
Every now and then.
Where?
My fingertips. My left fingertips.
Sounds like phantom pain. Your brain still remembers your old hand.
Yeah.
What about your vision? Can you see okay?
Yeah, at the moment.
Now, the shrapnel in your skull is pressing on your optic nerve. I'm told any hard impact could have an effect on your visual cortex.
Yeah, the doctor mentioned that.
Your brain might process visual information incorrectly. In other words, you could have hallucinations. You might see things that aren't there, or not see things as they really are. You experience any of that?
I think so.
When?
Right after I wake up. Colors look faded.
Colors, huh? But that's not a major concern in and of itself, but it could mean the difference between life and death in the field. You'll need to watch out for that.
I will.
All right. You should continue your physio. We'll be arriving soon. It's the last chance you'll get.
Ocelot. I hear they started calling you Shalashaska in Afghanistan. What's that about?
You know the term Sharashka? It's slang for a suspicious, hastily thrown together organization. The word became associated with a type of forced labor facility in the Soviet Gulag system. OKB scientists and engineers who'd been convicted of crimes were sent to a Sharashka for forced R&D. The Sharashkas were supervised by Lavrenti Beria of the NKVD, the secret police, under the official name 4th Special Department.
Forced research? That's not very different from what we do here.
Diamond Dogs is different. Everyone here believes in you. Regardless of where they came from or why they're here, they revere you. And they're fighting because it was their choice.
And if it wasn't, they'd leave?
Who knows? That's our reality here, whether it's real or not. If there's another truth, I don't want to know it. All that matters is that's the concept that's taken shape in their heads. The traces of a group ideology, our superstructure, to put it in Marxist terms.
All right. Go on.
Right. So anyway, at some point the enemy started calling me Sharashka. This was after the war in Afghanistan broke out. While I was keeping an eye on you in that hospital, I was also heading up interrogations here. The men I broke gave up their comrades and families, everything they wanted to protect them most. No real cause for it. I just let myself get caught up in the old Russian pride. And suddenly I received the honor of becoming Special Interrogation Advisor to the forced labor camps. But the more men I interrogated, the more people saw me as just that, the interrogator. It helped cover my real objective of keeping you safe.
You went that far for me?
Far enough to keep you alive. I ended up being pretty well known among the Afghan guerrillas. Some of them would have seen me on the battlefield, and that's how I got the second half of the name. Shashka. It's a sword, a type of saber from the Caucasus. Russian dragoons and Cossacks carried them into battle. Now, the Russian Empire had a general by the name of Fyodor Arturovich Keller. His bravery earned him the nickname Russia's Greatest Shashka. Someone must have known about that, because somewhere along the line, Shashka got stuck on the end of Sharashka. The guerrillas were using the name amongst themselves, and by the time I got to hearing about it, pronunciation had wound up as Shalashashka.
So, half Gulag, half Hero Sword. It was a perfect fit.
But you see how rumors and ideas about people can get out of hand fast. Once you create a character and put it out there in public mind, it warps and twists with every baseless rumor. And before you know it, all people see are phantoms. In my case, it works out just fine. I'm plenty used to working under aliases.
Yeah, that is, I think someone mentioned in the chat there, Shalashaska was originally a mistranslation. I always thought it was an issue with the English script initially in MGS1, but no, it was originally mistranslated in Japanese as well. And I guess the Ocelot was supposed to be called Sharashka, but wherever Kojima read the word, or whoever read the word, they got a mistranslation. And it wound up as Shalashaska, which they decided to keep for the rest of the series, I guess. I'm sure they found out after MGS1 was made that they fucked up, but they thought, fuck it, we'll keep it anyway. Although I don't think they really care so much about having to explain it here. I think, you know, it more relates to the overarching themes in the game about language and identity and perception. You know, like later on, you have a similar sort of thing with Eli when he comes to the base. Eli starts to lose his power. He loses his shit when they just call him Eli. You know, when he was running the group of child soldiers, they referred to him as what was it again? Nyoka Ya Mpembe, I think. And then once they all arrived on Mother Base, he lost that title, and with it, the power associated with the title. They no longer viewed him as the same person once his name was removed. Just the I guess the significance of that, the power that can come from language. Hold on a second here. And I guess it obviously relates to Venom posing as Big Boss.
So SALT II still hasn't gone into effect.
That treaty was drawn up to limit not just the size of the U.S. and Soviet Union's nuclear arsenals, but also their delivery systems. The whole deal. Just when we thought all those years of negotiations had paid off, somebody decides to invade Afghanistan. The timing couldn't have been worse.
The president was in the middle of the SALT II talks back then.
You mean while you were busy trying to stop Peace Walker? I heard. President Ford was meeting with the General Secretary in Vladivostok. In his absence, the political brass in America detected what they didn't realize was false nuclear launch data from Peace Walker, and were on the verge of ordering a retaliatory nuclear strike.
Coleman's big idea? Humans are incapable of destroying themselves. Turns out he never knew what humans are capable of.
If that AI, I mean, the boss, hadn't found a way to stop the fake data transmission, they probably would have gone ahead with the launch.
Deterrence was revealed as the pipe dream it was.
All thanks to you. And her. The U.S.-Soviet talks looked set to fall through. What happened in Nicaragua no doubt helped trigger a change of heart. But in the end...
The time's to find the politics. When you've grabbed their tail, they turn and bite your hand.
I first met you 20 years ago now. The place was Selenouyarsk in the Soviet Union. We were enemies. I was with the GRU. You were still fighting for America. 1964. Operation Snake Eater. Its objective? The assassination of the legendary soldier known as the Boss. When you returned home successful, they awarded you the title Big Boss. Your CO, Zero, sought to carry on the boss's will by covertly establishing his own organization. You knew the original members from Operation Snake Eater. From America, there was David O, or as he was to you, Major Zero. Donald Anderson, aka Sigint, Dr. Clark, who went by paramedic during the operation, and the fourth, you. From China, there was Eva, and me, Ocelot, from the Soviet Union. 6 in total. To us, government notions of friend and foe were meaningless. As were East and West, we joined forces by our will alone. Our objective was to fulfill the boss's dying wish, to make the world one. And to do it, Zero used the Philosopher's Legacy, the secret war fund you obtained during Operation Snake Eater. This organization would go on to become Cypher. I, on the other hand, was left with the problem. You only recovered half of the legacy. I had to locate the other half myself. When I found the funds, I passed them on to Zero, just as you wanted.
I still trusted him in those days.
We thought what he was doing was the boss's will, until he started that one project.
Les Enfants Terribles, Zero called it.
You parted ways, as did Eva, leaving only Anderson and Clark still with him. I maintained limited contact, although truth be told, we were just keeping tabs on one another. The reason was always you. After you returned to the Army and created Foxhound, you left America. For a time, even I'd lost track of you. I'd imagine Zero did too. You always were the best when it came to hide and seek. Zero created Cypher, an information network to tap into every corner of the globe. Woven together, Cypher's arteries make the world just one big organism. And that's not all. It also monitors the thorn in Zero's side. That's you, tracking your coordinates wherever you might go. The further you strayed from your roots, the larger Zero became. It's as if he was trying to close the gap between you. But before long, he disappeared from public life. Only a few people had direct contact with him. For a time, I was one of them. Then a year after you fell into your coma, he slipped out of sight entirely. Since then, nothing. No photos, no recordings, not even a reliable rumor as to his whereabouts. I tried every method I could think of, but Zero was gone. Freed of his control, his creation, his power continued to grow. Cypher is a great beast, and Zero was its spine. But even without him, it's endured, evolved. But now its body is rotting, riddled with parasites. Parasites like the ones who attacked you 9 years ago in the Caribbean, and then at the hospital. Cypher's Black Ops unit, XOF. They learned where you were, and came to wipe the slate clean. Christmas Eve, 1979, the Soviet Union rolled into Afghanistan. Muslims had revolted against the Soviet-friendly regime established the year before. The DRA forces could no longer contain it themselves, so the Soviets went in to intervene. The Afghan government was powerless and fraught with infighting. They lost the hearts and minds of the people, and that alarmed the Soviet leadership. With the Islamic Revolution happening in Iran, the Soviets felt they had to act fast or risk the spread of Islamic revivalism. A superpower, sending a motorized rifle division against men on horseback with antique rifles. Everyone thought it'd be over in an instant, only it wasn't. Some Muslims made their fight a jihad, a holy war, and began a guerrilla campaign on all fronts. A war of attrition. These fighters call themselves Mujahideen. They're being supported by the West through Pakistan. That's why Miller was involved. He was training them near the Zero Line, sponsored by the CIA. The war has become a nightmare for the Soviet troops stationed here. They thought they'd be headed home in 6 months at the most. Then a year passed. 2 years. Now here we are 4 years on with no exit in sight. Afghanistan has become the Soviet Union's Vietnam. The Soviet troops on the ground want to go home, but at least they have homes to go back to. The Afghans have lost theirs. The Soviets destroy the kishlaks, villages, wherever they can. They burn down homes and fields, fill in wells, turn pastures into minefields. It's created a mass of refugees who fled to Pakistan. If the Mujahideen are fish swimming around the villages, the Soviets will go so far as to dry out their ocean. But this has had a big price. There's bitter resentment among the Afghans, and they're taking out their anger on the soldiers on the front lines. Among the Mujahideen are the Pashtun people. They're fiercely devoted to their code of Badal, or revenge. Soviets they've captured have had their hands, feet, and noses cut off before being left to die at the side of the road, just to show their comrades what they're capable of. Friendlies who come across them can do nothing but put them out of their misery. Then they burn down another village in retaliation. And the cycle of vengeance goes on. Snake, I wanted to ask you about the man on fire. What do you remember from the hospital? Anything we can use?
Well, he took off the moment the sprinklers started up.
Sprinklers? The fire system?
And when he got sprayed with water from the burst pipe, it slowed him down.
When we escaped on horseback, he wouldn't cross the river either.
And then it started to rain. And he disappeared.
Water against fire. Is it that simple? I mean, it makes sense. It's just hard to believe it would work on a guy like that.
All right, guys. Dr. K is going to take over to play his favorite game. And I'll be back later in like 12 hours or so for my final session. Maybe I'll have a few beers as well. I think I might make that a tradition where my final session I'll always have a couple of beers. May as well, you know. You don't need to worry about the next day. Hold on a second here. Let me see. Yeah, guys, bear with me for a few minutes. Let me just check my dashboard as well, make sure I'm up to date on thanking everyone, and then we'll do the usual. I'll play some tunes, send the save over to DRK. Jewish Cowboy, thank you very much for the 3 months. Eravault, thank you for the Prime sub. Aro, thank you for the 3. Sniping, thank you for the 10 bits. Astronauta White, thank you for the 4. Ice Wallow Cum, thank you for the $1. He tried to trick me by spelling it in a strange way, but joke's on you. I'm gonna say it anyway. Because I'm okay with saying silly things on stream. Hold on a second. Kane as well with the Prime sub. Sorry if I missed anything along the way. Any subs or resubs or anything like that. Yeah, guys, give me a couple of minutes here and I'll be back to sign off and hand over to DRK. Bear with me. All right, fools. We're ready. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for being here. We're getting close to the end of the marathon. There's a little bit left to go. It's been a long few days, but a very fun few days. Yeah, I'll be back as usual in around 12 hours time, something like that. Let me just check my dashboard one more time, just in case someone subbed or something while I was dealing with all that stuff. Earth One Carlos, thank you very much for the 2 months. Cheers. Yeah, guys, don't go anywhere. The stream is going to go down for like 10 seconds or so. DRK, I'll be right back up with more Phantom Pain, and I'll be back later to continue. Cheers, everyone. I'll see you soon. Peace.